So the first day of Citcon presentation is over, and for me the most beautiful part was this part, where the player flies through a rainstorm. And it's beautifully set up by the developer, where they talk about how players to make decisions on whether to take off and fly through the rainstorm or stay on the ground. However, the entire flying in this scene appears to be hand animated, and it appears to suggest there's a flight model that is similar to at least what War Thunder has. However, there's nothing like that in the game. So let me show you. Okay, pay attention to what this guy is saying who's flying that thing.
I'm getting out of this suit now. Powering up, flying out. We'll need to switch to IFR. See you on the other side.
Okay, so here's the first thing. He talks about instrument flight rules, which I think means flying through bad weather and looking at the instruments because of the poor visibility. And that suggests there's a flight model where you actually have to do that. However, as I will show you in the game, there's nothing like that in the game. And I don't think there will be anything like that in the game. And now let's take a look at what the Aurora is doing as it's taken off. First, notice how slow it's taken off. And how it's wobbling left and right like it's trying to stabilize itself, like a helicopter in War Thunder. And that's also not in the game. Now it's slowly taking off and flying forward. And that looks like it's entirely hand animated by an animator for that scene. Okay, now I'll show you how the game currently looks. Okay, now I'm in offline mode, and this is spawn screen. Now if I click on the Drake cutter, it's up in the sky. Now that's the first thing that should be worrying, is that you can spawn in the air with a ship. Okay, let's take a look at the flight model when you spawn in the air. Okay, see the ship is floating exactly in midair, perfectly still. Now I can still I can move the mouse. Now I'm letting go of the mouse. And I will keep rolling exactly on that spot without any movement in any direction. Because in this game, gravity is currently a toggle that you can turn off at the press of a button. So what you can do is, you can go to the MFD over here. And turn gravity compensation off. Now that shouldn't be a thing in a game where you have flight, where you can turn off gravity if you wanted to. See, now I'm slowly dropping towards the ground. Turn back on. To land, to show you the other thing, how it's impossible to take off that slow in the game unless you manually lower the thruster power, which is hidden on the key combination I actually can't remember right now. Okay, so let's land over here. Okay, now let's land. Actually, I keep the landing gear in. Because with landing gear, you're limited to 30 meters per second. Okay, so now in the video, when he would take off, he would slowly take off over a few seconds to a hover about 3 or 4 meters above the ground. Now I'll try to take off as slow as I can. Okay, just press space to clear the ground and let go of it. Let's see how far I got. That ship is heavier than an Aurora. Okay, see how many meters that is? That's at least, I would say, 20 meters. That's why I said earlier in the video that it's impossible for a player to fly as slow as in the trailers. And I think the animators also know that, because the game has such ridiculous accelerations for ships that when they want to make a scene where a ship is close to the ground, where the camera is not on the ship, for it to look right, they have to hand animate it. So they take off, I think, 5 to 10 times slower than they would in the game right now. And I made a lot of feedback posts about that the game should lower the acceleration power of ships by the factor of 10. So they would struggle the first 5 seconds just building enough power so they can lift a few centimeters above ground, and then add more engine power, and they get maybe to 1 meter, and then an unstable hover. And some players would say, yeah, but what planets with different gravities? But here's the thing, they could still tighten the tolerances so you have some reserve power if you take off on a planet that's, let's say, 1.3 G instead of 1 G gravity. And also in this rotation, I can also, just so you can see how ridiculous the flight model right now is. You can even do the following thing when you say you're flying like that, and you want to like fly in that forward direction. I'm giving it some forward push, letting go of W, and now I'm just rolling. Actually, because I got coupled mode on, it's slowing me down. Let's turn off coupled mode, but gravity is still toggled off. Let's fly forward. Let go of W, and now I'm just going to duck my mouse forward, see? It's drifting exactly in that forward vector you gave it with the thrusters, and you can roll it any direction you want, and that's not a flight model. And I think that's the biggest problem the game currently has, because if the flight model sucks this bad, the entire game will suck. It doesn't matter if you're flying in pyro or how beautiful the rain clouds are. If flying is just drifting in a spectator camera, then the game won't be fun.